Okay, so what does that compared to that do to your ball flight? Y'all stay tuned to find out.
All right.
Yeah, so here we are. We are back. Gonna talk. A little construction going on in the background.
Nervous BJ was farting. That was loud.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about grip today, how that affects ball flight, kind of what you should see, kind of what some common theories or thoughts, things like that are on it. And
theories and thoughts.
Theories and thoughts.
That's what we're going to start calling all of our theories and thoughts. So what's your theory on the election? I'm just kidding. No comment. This is not political.
No comment.
We don't care who you like or dislike or any of that other crap. Just learn how to play better golf.
Yeah. So we're looking at...
how would you... So this is going to be a instructor-student scenario.
Yes.
I will probably throw 2 cents in because I'm loud.
Yeah.
But...
Clearly.
How would you like me to start? So you want me to start neutral? Do you want me to start strong, weak?
Let's start neutral.
Neutral. Okay.
Okay.
Neutral for me.
Neutral for you, yes. So Ryan typically tends to be more of a strong gripped person.
In the left hand.
So as we're sitting here...
And that's where I would consider set and ready.
Okay. So as we look at Ryan's hands right here, we can see both of the V's on his hands right here and right there are relatively pointing straight up and down or in between his arms.
Are they?
Okay. They're still a little bit strong.
So more to my sternum versus my...
Correct. More straight up your chest. And that would be more of a neutral grip right there. And then so as he sets up and he's hitting that more of a neutral style grip.
I'm going to hit a few shots while you talk.
He typically is a little bit more of a strong-handed golfer. So he's going to have a little bit more of a shut club face. Turns out whenever he goes neutral, he just hits it dead straight.
Party. I say neutral. That's where I set up, typically. Yep. I don't... What I just gave you is what I'm comfortable with.
That's what you're comfortable with?
Yeah. That's my normal playing position.
Okay.
I will say my left and right has more of a tendency to be because my downswing sucks. I drop inside.
Tend to get a little to the inside.
A little quick on the hip and...
That's pretty good launching, just a touch. Yeah.
That's my typical ball flight. So a little bit of a draw.
So we're getting face angles that the last one was negative 0 point something. This one was positive 0.7. I tell my students who are working with stuff, anytime on like face angle, when you have a 0 point something, it doesn't really matter positive or negative.
Straight.
Like you've got a pretty square club face for the average golfer that's coming in to work on stuff. If you've got 0 point anything, that's a pretty square club face.
And then your path becomes the reason why.
So now let's look at it again, what a strong grip would look like as you're looking down at it. So something that's going to be...
Primarily right hand or both? Or
we'll say right-handed.
Okay. For a right-handed player.
Yep.
Low hand.
So then now we're looking at more of a strong grip. So as we...
Oh, that's so weird.
As we take a look at this grip from straight on, you can see where these two V's in his hands are running way more towards that right side or pointed kind of up this trail arm. That would be what we would see as more of a strong grip that in turn is going to come back and give you typically more of a shut club face.
Yep, or a draw, or a golf ball moving right to left for a right-handed player.
Yep.
So what actually happens like in your forearms and your arms when you strengthen that grip, what are we actually doing to...
So you're rolling your hand underneath it. So like the other way that kind of I like to show people or talk about it is when somebody sets up and if you say you have a golf ball right here in front of you and my club face is dead square, whenever I get my hands rolled, my right hand rolled underneath the club and I get those V's pointed to my right shoulder, whenever I go to relax and point my hands, my thumbs basically straight back down, you see the club face goes closed this direction. So as you're coming into your swing, whenever you're coming down through it and your hands go to release or get back to square, your club face
falls.
In turn closes up and you get a shut or more of a closed club face.
It's amazing how difficult it is to do something you're not used to, by the way. And that's even professionals. I always get, if you want to change something, it's going to be uncomfortable at first.
Yes.
This is incredibly young. You saw how I lost my balance backwards. Now I over-defined it a little bit to be an idiot. But I lost my balance backwards simply because it felt so different.
You have one point of contact with the golf club, and that's on the grip. That's the only place that you're holding the golf club. And so whenever somebody changes a grip, I would suggest to make extremely small changes and keep taking kind of baby steps to it, rather than going from a weak grip, which we're fixing to see here in just a second, completely skipping over neutral and going straight to a strong grip. A grip change is, I would say, one of the more difficult things to do.
Yeah,
just because it feels incredibly awkward.
So if you start talking biomechanics here, when you strengthen that grip, realistically what you're doing is you're taking your bicep into the swing a lot more too, right? So when you get to here, all of a sudden now that bicep can do a lot more than it would before versus in your forearm, and that's going to also want to make you turn the ball over a little bit more as well.
I'm going to get through it more with your arms.
Sorry, I'm pulling that TPI certification out of you now.
Get those mechanics going. So here we go. Weak grip. What does a weak grip look like? So if strong for a right-handed golfer, strong was going up towards the right side.
He looked away, he didn't get my joke. You said what a weak grip look like?
Funny.
At least throw the camera up there and show everybody what I'm doing. That's really funny.
This is Ryan's weak grip right there. Picked it up, launch direction of 10, and he did hit it to the right.
Oh. All right. All serious now. So as strong was to the
right. So weak is going to be vice versa.
I don't know if my arm bends this much that way.
Yeah, and you got to check that left hand right there. So getting that left hand, and it's actually kind of hiding over there, but we've got those V's are now running up our lead arm, or for a right-handed golfer, it's running up that left arm right there. And so that would be an extremely weak grip. And
can't hold this too long, man. You got to film faster.
Yeah, and where we were talking just a minute ago that, you know, your hand is rolled underneath it. So we're strong grip, we're over here, and then whenever our hand goes back to neutral, thumb straight down, our grip gets closed. It's the exact opposite.
Yep.
Where everything is rolled over to the left, and when my thumbs come back to normal, boom, there it goes, and it just flares open.
And the biomechanics side of it would be now we are infusing way more of we're taking our arm almost out of it completely, specifically our right arm.
Out of the top of it.
And we're forcing our shoulders to do more of the work. I'm right? I'm not losing my mind?
Yeah, hands are...
As a general...
It's a wild, I don't know. Getting extremely weak on your grip is a...
I'm actually a little nervous for the camera at the moment.
It's a very difficult thing for me to do because I don't know, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh. A little tiger helicopter.
Yeah, it's the only way I can make that work, though. It's so uncomfortable to try and turn over with that hand.
So typically, we just said at the very beginning, Ryan has a tendency to swing from in to out.
Yeah.
So if he swings in to out, which is a positive club path, so that would be a club path that is moving to the right, and then he has a club face that is open to the right. That is right, starting right, going right, flare, golf ball, there's...
Otherwise known as what you're seeing on the screen right now.
Yeah, there is no coming back from that.
And I hit a few with everyone, so we'll... I mean, there is. It's called the punch-out.
Yeah, I mean, intentional shots there, but, you know, typically somebody that swings... swings in to out, you are going to want...
So I pulled that... I lost my weight very hard to my back left heel, and that forced that club face to close the amount it did. But you can still, it still went a little to the right.
Yeah, coming over the top on it.
Bad example. This is, like we talked about earlier, because I typically have a tendency to be a little more strong in my grip, hitting something like this is a way more awkward thing for me than, and typically that's common of players. They have a side they're more comfortable on. Me, the ball, like a player that hits the ball more left to right or a cut, or if you're left-handed the other way, they're going to be more comfortable with what I'm doing right now. I'm not. I go left a lot. So therefore, I'm more comfortable in the strength. I mean, this is already, I can feel my shoulder feeling not bad, but different. Like tingling in spots it shouldn't be tingling in.
Yeah, trying to get the club face square from that weak of a grip for somebody that typically is strong is a pretty big move. There's another one right there.
That's what should happen in my golf swing. The way my golf swing is structured at the moment.
Yeah, it should start right, go right. So then vice versa, you get somebody that's more of an over-the-top person. If they're over the top and they have this grip right here, then you get the woo, that kind of pull slice looking stuff, big
Which would be the
ballooner.
version of my draw, essentially. I went back to normal.
Sitting a pretty
Great,
straight
you
ball.
broke me, Aaron. Now I'm just pushing everything.
Strengthen it up.
See, I will gladly ditch my game so you guys can get better. Not that there was much of a game there, but
Strengthen that up a little bit.
I do have to draw, otherwise this is going to feel weird all day. Not that I'm planning on swinging a lot more, but still. There we go. There's my
Yeah.
swing.
A little bleeder.
little
Double
more than I
zeros.
wanted, but-
Double zeros.
So as I'll path at that point, typically I'm a few degrees.
I would say
in the
that's
out.
probably a 3-degree in to out path right there with double zeros right there.
And what's
Yeah.
crazy too is you know we've talked a lot about what happens with the ball and the face angle, but typically a draw, regardless if you're left or right-handed player, is going to go a little further too.
Yeah, you have a little less spin.
Right, a little less spin. So that's another reason why. I mean, you can see there that my yardage just spiked to 179 from about 170 with the straight and even 160 something with the thing that was hurting.
Yeah. Ouch.
So
So if you're looking for that, a lot of people talk about knuckles and whether you see 2 knuckles, 3 knuckles, no knuckles, 1 knuckle, whatever that is. I personally like to look at the V that is created between your pointer finger and your thumb and getting both of those V's pointed in the same direction, whether it's straight up the middle at your sternum, more to your right shoulder, more to your left shoulder. That's for you to play with and you to determine.
yeah, and typically, and just I'm gonna throw my little instructional nugget since obviously I teach as well. It depends on the player for me of which version I use. Most beginners down to about a 5, I typically use the V. When I get to professionals, I switch to knuckles because it's a little easier to vary degrees of it.
Yeah,
with the
you can
knuckles,
see 'em
and
better.
that's why. So if you're an instructor from wherever you're at, or if it's one of us, it changes on you. Sometimes it might be because hey, maybe you're not getting it, and realistically, there's 1,000 ways to tell you one thing. And so we, as instructors, it's our job as teachers more than anything else, is to find the way you're going to learn it the best.
You got to be able to relay it to you.
Whatever
So,
you latch on. So sometimes we switch, but typically that's where we land.
So yeah, hope that helps y'all out. Take it out, check it out. Don't do that.
Don't do that. I almost hit Aaron in the head with it.
Thank y'all for checking in.
See ya.